Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Dish Shelter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Yo!
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific governor himself, Zealeus.
What's the good word on this beautiful Thursday of Thursdays? Oh, this July.
We're alive.
I'm glad to hear that because we could totally be a ghost or a zombie or a skeleton or a Ifrit and it would be fine.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed that we did not have a show last week, and that's on me. My basketball team was in the playoffs and had a chance to. They were 2 games away from going to the NBA championship, and decided to lose that Thursday and that Saturday. So,
I mean, to be fair, that's a solid reason. I mean, it was a very fun team to watch.
it was.
And definitely hoping to see more of their amazeballs playing throughout the next couple of years.
I hope so.
I mean, they have a great young core.
If they can keep it.
That's always the trick, isn't it? Once you win a few games, all of a sudden it's like everybody wants to be paid.
I want the moolah. See, it's been too long. The words do not come out of my mouth correctly.
It's either you have to be like a destination to bring in the super team, or you have to like win it in that window before all your young guys get big money. You can't keep everyone.
Exactly. All right. So, a bit of other weird news. I know that some people are like, okay, so Thursday was off, so why didn't you stream on What's Up, the Dondero? It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's the Dondero.
Is that like part of the road to El Dorado?
No, this is the one and only Dondero, man. We've hung out with him like at a bunch of different conventions, man.
I can't remember who I hung out with like this morning.
I'm pretty sure we've crossed paths at Con Nuga.
That's what I was going to go with.
And I believe MonsterCon as well. Or shit, I'm sorry. The convention that shall not be named. Listen, if you remember me, I didn't do my job. Okay, see, the problem is that I was at like an evening panel that the wonderful Dondero was at, and there was something that happened during that panel that will forever give me nightmares. So I can never forget him.
You can't just tell a story and not tell the story. That's not cool.
There was a blow-up pig with his face on it.
I thought that was normal in your dreams.
No. I mean, Big Fan of Greenville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I never went to Big Fan of Greenville.
You didn't?
No, that was Jesse.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The Dondero brand sex pig. That's the one. And that's why I shall forever know of him. Okay, so speaking of conventions, of course, it looks like a lot of the conventions are going back to normal. We've got the PAX Prime. Dragon Con, of course, is happening. As of right now, MomoCon is happening 2021. I believe Kanuga, oh, sorry, not 2021, 2022. Kanuga 2022. Chattacon, I believe, is happening as well. And I feel like there's another one that I'm forgetting.
You're forgetting one that starts tomorrow.
All right.
WitcherCon.
Huh?
There's a WitcherCon that starts tomorrow.
Okay, there you go. WitcherCon.
Brain. I didn't even know it was a thing until like a
Con
day
Carolinas. Oh, well, actually. Oh, yeah, Con Carolinas is coming back. Because I actually got the invite going, please come back. I'm like, actually, the problem with Con Carolina is I did this once and it about killed me, is that Con Carolina is the weekend after MomoCon. Because I did MomoCon. I think I did it with you, Zealeus, and then I did Con Carolina with Jesse. And that's when I found out about Big Fandom Greenville. And apparently my evil reputation.
You have a reputation, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Con Carolinas was fun. I mean, I did it once. I'm trying to remember. Well, it turns out your boy Dondero is now in charge of live stream for well, good job, man. Good
Nice.
job. Uh, okay, some other local conventions since we're in the Atlanta area. Southern Fried Gaming is supposed to happen at the end of August. Dragon of Con, of course. I feel like there's another one too. Gen Con, but that's up in Indiana. That's happening in September. Another one in Atlanta is Multiverse, which I think is more geared towards the like books and maybe movies, and not so much video games. But anyways, actually, the interesting thing about conventions is even if you go once to a convention, you may make a friendship or meet someone that opens up a lot of doors. Like I said, I went to Con Carolina once. Met the guy who was the mastermind behind Big Fan of Greenville. He apparently knew me because of my terrible reputation and was immediately invited to the first Big Fan of Greenville. You know, I've done Chattacon once, which I don't think, yes, it was a fun time. It was a very fun time. Yeah, so do I. I miss big fandom. Okay. Side story here. Well, it's my show, so I can do whatever the hell I want to. But anyways, the problem with big fandom was that the second year they did it, the entire convention got dicked over by like this football team that was using one of the conference rooms that was technically inside the convention. So there's no way to police people going in and out. And there was a wedding. That too.
And apparently, October 23rd and 24th could potentially be Nerdburger Con 2 online.
Ooh. Dondero got asked to leave the wedding twice.
I mean, did you get like jilted at the altar twice? That's kind of awkward.
No. They had the reception.
Try again?
No. They had the reception there.
You know, 50-50 chance of a yes, no?
They had the reception at the hotel.
Hmm.
The last Big Fan of Greenville, one of our buddies, Santiago, had some amazing news, was given some amazing news, and so he got lots and lots of free drinks from the bar because everyone was celebrating with him.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, okay. So it's hopefully, you know, all the conventions are going to return to normal. Hopefully, you know, we shared a room and it was a wreck. I bet it was a wreck. I sure as hell. Yeah. Yeah. The one thing about Santiago that I will never understand is how the hell he is so freaking chipper every single morning. The man must live with like an IV drip of just straight caffeine because the man is bouncing off the walls 24/7.
This is true. I remember breakfast at the hotel, and he comes into like the little buffet area, and he's happy. I'm like, what is wrong here?
I could tell some stories, but got to head out. All right, Dondero. It was good for you to drop by, and hopefully at one of these conventions we'll be able to align and be at the same time. But of course, Dondero, the same to you. Anyways, so the topics for this evening. Real quick, something that, like I was saying before, I know some people were like, well, okay, you took Thursday off, so what happened on Sunday? Because usually you stream on Sunday. Sunday, of course, was 4th of July, but that's really not the excuse for why I didn't stream. I was actually unconscious.
Why were you unconscious? That doesn't sound healthy.
So, fun fact, a person, a normal person or a weird person, basically any type of person, requires a certain amount of REM sleep in order to function.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was not getting like any REM sleep for the past like month or so. And so it apparently caught up to me. And literally, my body shut down for about 30 hours.
That's a long time.
And I literally woke up for a little bit, maybe was awake for an hour, maybe only 10 minutes, and was back asleep. Because my body's like, no. And the really cool thing was that in that span, I achieved more REM sleep than I did the past month and a half.
So are you live now?
Yes. Um, I I know I've said this before on the show. I do take certain types of medication to deal with anxiety and depression and bipolarism. I changed when I take it during the day, and hopefully that will fix the issue.
Nice.
Okay, now that that's all the way, let's talk about cheating.
Why are you cheating at your video games, sir? That is not cool.
So, for those out there who may have missed the news, there apparently is a hacker or group of hackers or programmers, if you want to call it. I mean, they are technically programmers who have created a the latest and greatest cheat for it looks like first-person shooters. Now, they have displayed. There's a video online that shows off what this hack can do in in some of the Call of Duty games. But apparently, from my understanding, it can work on anything. And basically, what this cheat allows you to do is the usual auto aim, auto lock on, the ability to detect which weapon a player is using, to automatically reduce recoil, all that stuff.
Sure.
And on top of that, the creator says it will work for any game on any platform and promises it is undetectable by developers' anti-cheat software.
Wow, this sounds like I could become a top 500 professional player. What do you think?
Yes. Okay, so okay. I'm not going to say that this is impossible, but just to give you a little bit more understanding of what they think or what their claim to fame is, and that is, it is apparently a sophisticated program that is helped by machine learning. It takes gameplay video from a console via network streaming or capture card and feeds it into a nearby computer, which then displays information the cheater can use. So it doesn't show up on the screen per se, not in the game, but it will go to a separate monitor and give you all the info.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. But that's different to me than like an aim hack.
I wonder.
Like,
see, yeah,
like
that's the thing
hack,
that kind of confuses me. Like,
yeah,
they say aim hack, but they're like, oh yeah, you're going to stream onto a different display. Like, but
so that gets into like the areas of cheating, right? So
yeah.
like, for instance, and I think there's always a different argument of PvP versus PvE.
Yep.
Like one example might be for PvE is back in the day with World of Warcraft, you had boss meters that would literally tell you as you're playing what the boss script is going to do. And so like that was an outside add-on. I mean, WoW has the like add-on screen, so it's not like you're hacking the add-ons.
Yep.
But it was an add-on that allowed you to know exactly what the boss was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is almost like a similar concept, only for PvP, where it's going to tell you what the opposing ones and zeros are going to do on your screen in an interesting way. I mean, away from machine learning, it makes sense because, like, let's just say you're playing let's say especially take like a 1v1 fighter game, like Street Fighter.
Okay.
Most likely your enemy is going to have tells, right?
Yep.
They have enough machine learning, and I'm able to predict exactly how Charlie is going to attack me with this character.
What combo he's going to use.
By doing that and not displaying the information, like, hey, this person just did an uppercut, they're probably going to do a low kick next. That's super useful information to have.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the other thing is, even though it's not, even though it's not really aimbotting, an interesting cheat that has been implemented several times, and of course has been shut down several times because of anti-cheat software, is that there's an algorithm that basically runs through the game that does display to a separate screen that basically highlights all the players through the walls. So you don't actually see it in game, but you see it through a separate screen.
Yep.
So you know where everyone is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what is it? It's tricking the spectator mode while you're actually in the game instead of spectating.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would say a pretty easy delineation is if it's not a built-in tool
mhm,
that the game has. So,
mhm.
for instance, like World of Warcraft had the built-in add-on tab. So,
Yep.
like that was just an example, but I would have considered that cheating because it was a built-in mechanism within World of Warcraft.
Right.
But all of a sudden, if you have this external tool, that's a little bit different story to me. And I think that's where these all pretty straightforwardly to me cross that line because it's an external tool that other players are not expecting the other player to have. There's kind of
Right.
an expectation of what they're using. Excuse me, nobody's expecting you to be able to see through a wall.
Right. No, no, right. I think that there's absolutely um, when you have a game like World of Warcraft or any of those games that you can add, a plug-in or maybe a small script because it has the ability to do so. That's definitely different than having a completely standalone cheat product that basically, feeds into the game.
Yeah.
Or let's say if you're playing a collective card game and the algorithm basically tells you what your opponent's hand is.
Yeah, I would definitely consider that a cheating mechanism also. Because again, you're playing against another player where there's an expectation of you're only using what's in front of you. Okay. Okay. So here's an interesting question
All right.
based off of that.
Yep.
What about if I manually calculate those odds? So what I mean by that is let's just say we're playing the Magic and I know you're playing a blue deck, right?
Okay.
And I have on my screen, I kind of have a list of the blue cards and I'm
That you
like,
know is in my
okay,
deck.
it would be a probability chart probably,
Hmm.
where if I know, he's played these three cards, I now know he's playing okay, for instance, like a black deck. I know you're playing a necromancer card
Mm-hmm.
because you played the sorted card, so I know you're going to do a deck res. Basically, is your entire strategy,
Mm-hmm.
or you're always resing out of your graveyard.
Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that means resurrecting.
Yes. So, but I have like a little chart that's telling me I'm having to keep track of kind of what you did, but it helps me to kind of figure out what's going on. Is that cheating?
No, no, I don't think so. Well, okay, so if you were at a casino, yes, because technically that's could be considered card counting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this is what chess grandmasters do all the time. They document both their moves and their opponents to see what the tendencies are and to then go back through and maybe up their strategy because chances are an individual who's if you're playing Magic the Gathering, if you are an individual who plays a blue deck and you're really good at the blue deck, you're not going to make a lot of changes. So if you face off against someone a lot and that person's actually documenting what you have in your deck, they're going to be a hell of a lot more prepared next time they come challenge you. So I don't see that as a cheat. I think
What if you're using it during the game?
like if like
Like
if
I'm analyzing them, like as I'm playing you over the internet, so I'm
yep
trying to analyze in real time what your deck is doing. Does that change it to a cheating because it's during the game
no
versus outside the game?
no.
Okay.
No, once again, you're still taking you're basically saying you're still taking an educated guess as to what my next move
Yeah.
is going to be, right? Then yeah, no, it's not cheating. If
Okay.
you basically had I don't know some sort of algorithm that's going okay, if the cards are shuffled like this, and I know all of his cards, that gets a little bit the gray area. But then
What if
again,
I wrote the program to do it? Does that change the
to
equation?
each their own. I mean, the thing is, you're not pulling any information from the game. For me personally, that's not cheating. Now, um, once again, it could be considered card counting, but I don't think anyone's really going to come after you in a Magic the Gathering or any of the collectible card game systems that go, "Oh my God, you've kept track of all my cards, you bastard! You know what I'm going to do." It's all tendency. It's how much mana or how much land do you have or mana or whatever the hell it is. Um, you know, uh, the next move is contingent on this move. I mean, it's strategy. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't blindfold yourself and walk into a war room and try to win a war. I mean, you look at the past of what the enemy has done so that you could better prepare yourself.
I'll
But
take it.
this also brings out a very good question. When it comes to cheating, a lot of people, they draw the line with any system that either that you install into the game or runs um, by itself for all games. I'm talking online and offline, competitive and whatever, casual. Now, Zealeus, and the rest of the audience, in your opinion, does the type of game lessen or increase the bastardness of the cheat?
Yeah, I think when it's a PvP game, a game like Overwatch or Valorant or any of the above, it definitely changes the assholeness basically of your cheating.
Right.
Because again, it comes down to that reasonable expectation of what is my opponent going to have skill at their able to use above and beyond their skill. I expect, if I'm playing a PvP, there's people say like the 240 hertz screen that gives you like an improvement for DPS because you have slightly better reaction time. Well, anybody can get that. Like that's an
Right.
expectation that anybody can go out, spend $1,000 on a graphics card and get it. That's a normal, valid expectation of what players may have as an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
They may have the super crazy gaming mouse and keyboard. Those are all perfectly reasonable to me because you know that separates people's financial means a little bit, but that's just the way games are.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to aim bots and things like that, where there is not that expectation, I also think when the developer makes clear that these are also cheating mechanisms, also,
Right.
and I think most people recognize that outside of your regular keyboard and mouse or controller, um, that those are acceptable means of communication. That's what we're used to. But it's when you really start, I think, getting that software manipulation
Mm-hmm.
that starts affecting things. I mean, think about it. Even with the input devices, like one of probably the biggest hacks of our day was the old SNES turbo controller. Remember, we could like turn on turbo for A or B to be like super quick. But most
I've
video
got
games,
one.
what?
I got one of
Nice.
those that has the ability to choose which of the four buttons you're going to turbocharge.
But like most video games, like that's not going to really help. If anything, it's going to make it worse for you if you turn that on. It's like even something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of peripherals like that really cheat for you. I think it's again that software manipulation. That's where it gets into a different level of. Now, it really is definitely cheating. Um, and even if you think about PVE games or single player games, you even then have a spectrum because like PVE, like for instance, like World of Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
there is kind of the I got my fat legendary loot before you did.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it doesn't directly affect you, there's still the EP and electronic measuring stick. So even then, it's still cheating and probably not cool. I think when it's like a single, absolute offline single player game, like for instance, like Tomb Raider, then at that point, who cares?
Well, the old Tomb Raiders, because now everything's got to have an online component. Actually,
Ah,
everything used to have an online component, but because of COVID, for some reason, a lot of the studios have actually backed away from the online portions of it because people are stuck at home, so they want a more solid experience for the single player. Also because ISPs are douchebags and we're putting some serious ass data caps. Um, the I know that there are people out there. I know that there was. It doesn't look like they're in the chat room right now, but there was an individual. The last time I brought up cheats that was under the. They believe that walkthroughs were cheating
hmm.
because you're no longer experiencing the game; you're following an instruction guide. Now, of course, I say, to each their own. I personally try to play uh, games without utilizing a walkthrough, but that's not to say I've never used a walkthrough, because I'll be honest with you, there are certain games where I had to throw my hands up in frustration, go, I have no idea what the hell to do next. And so I've got to consult something.
I definitely don't consider that cheating because it's not directly manipulating the game I'm playing
It is
through.
directly manipulating your experience, though.
Well, how the air conditioning blowing on me is
I know.
directly affecting my experience.
I know that's the thing. It's like this causality thing that just, it's like,
Yeah,
well, I
that
decided to use my left hand to grab something instead of my right. Therefore, the entire experience is different.
and therefore I created a hurricane in China.
Right.
Um, I mean, think about even like PvP games, like that's a central tenet of getting better is actually watching guides.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all the time you see, coaching reviews and guides on how to get better. Like that's a central tenet, which to me is kind of the multiplayer equivalent of watching or reading the 8,000 page game facts guide on how to play the game.
Now, of course, we're then, with this view on things, or this example, you have a lot of companies out there who I think they finally settled down, but there was a bunch of companies out there going, you cannot stream or video our game and post it online because you're taking money away from us. Technically, I can understand, it's their product, whatever, but at the same time, I think that if the game is good, when people, yes, of course, there's going to be those people who will not buy a game ever again because they enjoy just watching someone else go through all the heartbreak and the pain, and they just get to experience the euphoric sensations of getting past all the tough parts without any of the work.
I have absolutely nothing wrong with streaming, and I think should be legal across the board with no qualms.
I agree. Now, of course, then we're also going into the, you got to watch what music is playing or what sound effects are in your stupid stream. But that's a whole other bag of, or
Well, maybe the publisher should license the music to be able to be streamed. Maybe that's actually on the publisher and not the streamer.
I still think that the streaming platform should get one of those stupid blanket things and just pay for the damn thing.
That would honestly make everybody's life a lot simpler. I mean, hell, even at that point, if you're gonna do that, so be it. And I have no idea how payments on like Twitch and YouTube pay, but let's just say you're a video game streamer, and maybe like I don't know, a penny out of every dollar goes towards the blanket audio rights, whatever. I don't think most people would have an issue with that, honestly. If it's like a small percentage of it just went to that and it just basically eliminated all this DMCA, obvious DM. I mean, obviously,
Right.
if you're on there literally just streaming music, that's different.
Yeah.
But if it's because of a video game and, if you're making a profit, then like 1% or 2% goes towards it.
Right.
I think most people would definitely take that over basically am I going to get a copyright strike today?
Right. And in a perfect world, what I'd love to happen, because I know that there's a lot of people who stream their games and then stream their music selections over it. That one I can understand, getting dinged for that. But when the music or the sound effect is part of the game that you're playing, that's some bull honky baloney. Because that part of watching someone stream live or watch a recording of the video is that you want the full experience instead of random, I guess, blips of silence where maybe the gamer is saying something very important, but you can't hear it because it's been muted because there's a sound effect that someone has declared it's mine.
Well, it's like everything else. You have spectrums too.
Yeah.
So like I'll watch like online on YouTube reaction videos to music videos, which are obviously at that point straight up playing
Yep.
music videos.
Well,
So
the thing
you have
is, you
it's like a different level even of what is your using of music.
right. I mean, well, okay. So yeah, um, there's the oh god there I've read it's been a while, but I read so much of this fair use stuff. There's the fair use of of um, using a copyrighted entity for commentary purposes, and that is a very vague statement, and
Well,
it could hmm?
I think the thing I get like that I see with the videos I watch at least
Hmm.
is they're already on YouTube.
Right.
So it's like you see them, and they're basically they're doing is they're pulling up a YouTube, and they're commentating over that. Now, granted, it's on their channel, so that obviously changes the payout distribution, even though part of that's still going back to the publisher.
Right.
It's not just automatically all going to Ultra Confusion. X percentage of that is now going back to Sony or whoever your original publisher is. And I think that's from what I see, and that's where a lot of them kind of draw the line. So, like for instance, there's been a lot of this season is like basically live streaming of concerts, like a
Hmm.
pay-per-view type of concert.
Right.
And some bands who are well known to have reaction videos are very like, hey, if you post this, we will shut your ass down.
Yeah.
And to me, that's fair because it's a very different experience of a video that's been posted already on YouTube, and there's already kind of that system for paying back royalties to them versus $30 to $40 pay-per-view ticket that is obviously not intended to be posted on YouTube free to watch. That is not okay.
Right. I mean, it's the same as streaming, any type of like prize fight, um, or you know, a sneak peek for a movie that's coming out because you utilized your Disney Plus extra access or something and then streamed it um, on one of the systems. Absolutely, yeah, you're going to get in trouble, and you
Well, yeah,
should.
and you could look at the commentary because like something like Cinema Sins, which those are 15, 20 to 25-minute videos,
Hmm.
all taking footage for the entirety from the movie.
Right.
Um, but again, you're obviously not watching the movie. It's the commentary part.
Right. Well, I mean, the other thing is that it's not the entire thing; it's segments for
Yeah,
commentary purpose, and
sure.
that's the one little like itty bitty line that you could literally fall off of at a second and not know why. Um,
I'm curious for somebody like them, like how many automated notifications do they get like a day?
I'm sure that I'm sure that there's just this person that's probably sitting there going, "Okay, ding, all right, yeah, we understand, ding, yep, same deal." I do want to take 1 second and note something. Um, as you know, we're continuing through this crazy ass time called COVID, and everyone needs to have their escape. Many people have the Nintendo Switch. Some people have the PlayStation 5. Some people have the Xbox XYZ S Series, blah, 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 whatever the hell you want to call it. But apparently, there was an ad for one of these game systems, which there was an issue with the ad that wasn't caught until it started showing.
Oh dear.
Sony had to do some quick damage control. It's nothing bad. It's not like they actually accidentally showed porn or something, but it's one of those like the individual who's doing the ad had no idea what the fuck video games was or is. The entire ad has the PlayStation 5 upside down. And so there's like, and of course, we, amazing Americans, try to duplicate everything because we don't like to think for ourselves. So if we see that this person on this commercial, which totally has everything in that commercial is totally true, can play their PlayStation upside down, I'm going to do the PlayStation upside down. They're going to get pissed because the game's not playing right. I just find it funny. That's just
Mm. It's like the old stock video for soldering, where the gal's holding it like by the actual tip for the soldering iron.
yeah. Or you have those TV shows where you got kids playing video games, but they're like, they're pushing all the wrong buttons. Like it doesn't make any sense. They're basically button mashing, but not moving, or they're basically pushing like all the buttons that don't really do anything for the game that they're playing. Um, except for maybe pause and unpause. Actually my favorite. There's a picture. This was, oh my gosh, this was a while back. There was a Time Magazine does their like top 100 influential people or whatever.
Yep.
And one year, the creators behind Penny Arcade were featured on there. And
Wow.
so they decided it would be funny that when they took their picture, of course, they're being known for video games, their convention packs and whatnot. So in their picture, they're all holding their controllers upside down,
Nice.
acting like really cool, like they're trying to drive with controllers upside down. So, anyways, it's always humorous for me, and I'm sure a bunch of gamers out there, or hell, anybody who's a fan of anything, to see it be advertised or shown in something, and they completely foobarred it.
You
It'd be
made me
like,
think of just
huh?
totally random.
Yeah.
I thinking of Penny Arcade. Like I used to have like a daily list
Hmm.
of morning like comics, web
Yep.
comics I'd read. I haven't read a web comic in like years. And I don't know if I just like stopped one day, but I used to have like 4 or 5 that like daily I load them up and see if there was a new one that day, and then I just haven't in forever. Oh,
No, I was right there with you, man. There was a time where I had to get my Penny Arcade. I had to get my PvP, which
mm,
was by Scott Kurtz. Uh, I had to get my Control Alt Delete, which was like sacrilege that I was doing Control Alt Delete and PAX or Penny Arcade, because um, the saying goes that basically the guy behind Control Alt Delete copied Penny Arcade to make their own, and then there's some other comics out there that I can't think of off the top of my head now. But yeah, I had at least like 3 or 4, maybe 5 that I kept an eye on constantly. So, but yeah, good memories.
hmm.
Good memories. Um, I want to make a quick statement to all you amazing influencers out there who have huge follower backing and stuff. Don't fall into the trap of being an absolute douchebag, please. I know that when you have the power, you get power crazy. But there's a group of individuals called Phase. I think they they're at a couple of the different esports leagues, and a couple of their members had to be dismissed because they decided to do a shady practice with some crypto coin currency.
Ah, yes.
And of course, there was those. I think it was it Counter Strike or Call of Duty streamers that were basically running an illegal gambling loot box operation, where they said these guys are awesome, but it turns out that they owned the site that was doing the lottery system.
Nice.
So please, ladies and gentlemen, do good in the world. I understand that when you get the monies, you want the more monies, and then you want the more monies of the monies, but use your power for good.
Tell me, what exactly does it mean to be good?
I think it's open to interpretation,
Hmm.
but hopefully it's beneficial to everyone involved in a non-harmful, hateful way.
Wait, we don't hate? I don't understand.
No. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to just pump the brakes real quick. I do want to do a quick round of thank yous to some amazing individuals out there. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the Indie Cluster. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. If you want more information, go to Indie Clusters, INDIECLUSTER.com. And the
So
guy
much.
who runs it, Ron, is amazing. Yes, sir. Did you have something to add, Zealeus?
I just said so much to see, sir.
Yes. Now let's do another quick shout out. This, of course, goes to the hero in my heart, and that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic.
And your
Uh,
shoulders.
and my shoulders and my back and my neck and my plantar fasciitis and my knees and my sinuses. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore, the company's focus to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. If you are in the greater Atlanta area, definitely go to herochiropractic.com. Dr. Ryan was here just the other day. Justin, my son. So, shout out to Dr. Ryan, though he couldn't stay for long because he had a big client that he had to get to. So he's getting up in the world, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want in now, you better, you better get with the good, whatever. He's a great chiropractor. He comes to you. I have no complaints. I do want to take a quick second to tell you that for the 10th year straight, Ultra Confusion will be participating in Extra Life. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, gaming, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network Hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars you raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the capacity to donate, please go to extra-life.org and search for Ultra Confusion and donate today. Now, as I've said many, many, many times, if you do not have the ability to donate, but you want to, maybe you don't have the ability to donate money, but you have the ability to donate time to like a group, a gathering of like-minded individuals, by all means, fundraise for your own Children's Miracle Network Hospital. I'm not saying that you have to go through us. Extra Life is an amazing thing. Extra Life, I believe, has been around for 11 years. We've done it for 10, so we've basically been there almost the entire time. I love it. It's a 24-hour game-a-thon. I have made it through every single time, practically unscathed. But it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend at least tuning into the live stream and making sure that I am conscious through the entire thing, and probably watch Zealeus appear for a couple of hours as well as a special guest. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to point out that Ultra Confusion has a Patreon. Ultra Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you. And so we have a Patreon. Patreon lets the fans, supporters, lovers, haters, aliens, monsters, crazy people, superheroes, all of that, to become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you the access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. There are currently 2 payment tiers. There's a $1 a month, which is $12 a year tier, which gives you early access to all the playthroughs and, of course, allows you to participate in any polls or insider information for Alta Confusion. There is also a $5 a month option, which is also $60 a year. This will get your name or organization in the thank you section of the Thursday Night Hangout. And then, of course, we'll give you the early access to the playthroughs and the ability to take part in Alta Confusion only stuff. So if you have the capacity to do so, please become a patron for us today. Seriously, it's $12 a year. Or
just 12?
It's $12 a year for the base, and then it's $60 a year for the next level. To be honest with you, that's a hell of a deal.
But how am I going to be able to drink like my 2 frappuccinos a year, man?
2 frappuccinos? Oh my God, you'll be fine.
I'm not sure I can handle that.
Oh my Lord. The playthrough that the patrons currently have access to is my playthrough for a game called Gibbous, and I'm about to in the next day or so I'm going to post the final chapter, and then next week I will turn it from private to public, and then I'll be playing the next game, which I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but there will be a next game.
Nice.
Though I do. Okay, so here's my question for Zealeus and anyone in the audience who wants to chime in. Do you like the playthroughs where there is like a voiceover commentary, or do you want the non-voice and strictly
voiceover?
You like this? Okay.
Yeah, it just makes it, because usually it's a voice. So if I'm like jumping into a game, and let's also assume I'm not watching it from the very beginning.
Right.
Having that voiceover is also usually going to give me some contextual hints as far as what the hell is going on in the game. Also.
Gotcha.
Like, oh yes, I'm like, let's just say I'm playing Destiny and I'm not saying anything. I just jump in my vehicle. Excuse me, I'm driving on the planet. I'm going to go see Spider.
Well, okay.
People watching aren't going to necessarily know. Versus, I'm like, yeah, I'm jumping in my vehicle. I'm over here. And I'm going to go talk to him.
No, okay. This. So I think if someone records a playthrough, okay, not a stream. Because, dear God, if you're streaming something and you're not talking, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Okay.
No, I'm saying that, let's say that, the new walkthrough or playthrough is, instead of reading, 30 pages of notepad font, you're now just watching someone play. Some people just want to enjoy the videos without the added commentary. And then there are other people who find that the added commentary potentially improves the game even further.
No, I still want commentary. It makes it more interesting to me.
Yeah, so I usually do commentary, but for this one, Gibbous, I didn't. The real reason behind it is that the dialogue is so good that I was like, I don't want to accidentally like talk over something that's just freaking awesome. And to be honest, the other thing that I've done, thanks to my 9-to-5 job, is that anytime I'm recording or hell, streaming, I turn on the subtitles.
Well, I think it's also a little bit different if it's during dialogue. Like, yes, like during dialogue, if there's actually content going on,
yeah,
to me that is very different. You're right. If it's dialogue, like two characters are talking to each other and there's voiceover, you're right. In that case, I don't want your dialogue to go long, unless it's like pointless dialogue, like Diablo dialogue, who cares? But for the most part,
or it's dialogue that's like,
yeah. But like actual like real storyline content.
Yeah.
In that case, I would not launch your dialogue to go with it. You already have it. To me, at that point, it's like watching a movie. It's somebody's like, huh? Why did that happen? Who's that person? And they want to punch them in the face.
Yes, absolutely. It's like the commentator in the movie theory. It's like, shut up and watch the movie. Actually, it's like watching a movie with my son, where he immediately he'll either say, oh, look what's about to happen. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Or he'll be like, well, why is he doing that? What's going to happen to him? I don't know. Watch the damn movie. I mean, that's the beauty of watching a movie is when you watch it, hopefully, if they've done their job, you get most of your questions answered.
But you know what really bothers me?
What's that?
Is So like, let's just say you're playing like, for instance, I'm playing Destiny 2 lately,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, there's a quest. I'm like, what the? I don't understand where the Whispering Willows are, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I like Googled Destiny 2 Whispering Willows, and like every website gives you like a 5 paragraph preamble of like, well, the history of the Whispering Willows is it was born of the Nexus, and it came out in 30. I'm like, I don't care. Your title of your like the title literally says, "Where's Whispering Willows?"
Uh-huh.
I don't need to know about all this other stuff. I just want the answer.
So
It drives
okay,
me
so
absolutely nuts.
so funny that you should say Destiny. There, a Bungie apparently has posted a job to find someone to basically chronicle all the lore of Destiny.
Oh, people freaking like are all. I don't understand what the hell is going on because what Bungie has done with Destiny 2, because there's been so many like years of missions, and they sunsetted certain parts of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you join now, the original, it's like the Traveler is like this big ball that basically saved humanity.
Mm-hmm.
If you join now, you don't play the original quest line from when Destiny 2 came out that I did with involving the Traveler because it's like 4 or 5 years removed. Would that be like, I guess they figured too much content? Because Bungie's thing is they want players to be able to basically jump straight into kind of the action,
The
right?
meat,
That,
the meat
yeah,
of the
that's
game.
the idea of
Right.
Destiny 2. Because what they found in other MMOs, and this is what Final Fantasy 14 fixed, they fell into this pit for a while, was if you have a game that has been out for like 3, 4 expansions, and players are already doing, if not in-game content, at least it's in sight.
Yep.
Um, if you force a player to start at level 1, and not just start at level 1, that's normal, but then have to slog through like everything at a snail's pace, you're going to turn off most gamers. So that's where you've seen games like Destiny 2's decision was basically like, okay, let's just basically forego this other crap and jump you straight into the current season.
Isn't that
Or
kind of
again,
like
like
what
Final
World of
Fantasy
Warcraft do? You could just bump your player straight to 20 after
uh,
some of the expansions.
I think so, yes. I know you can also purchase like a level 70 character or 80 or 90, whatever the hell the level cap is.
Yeah.
And I guess what Final Fantasy 14 did now is I tried to jump in like 2 or 3 years ago. It was still a slog fest. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, this is not fun. Like, I mean, I've done 4 MMOs to top level, and I just can't do another like 60 hours of side quest of fetch. I just can't.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm done. But apparently, what they've done now is they've done where you have your main story quest line, where as long as you do those, you'll get basically to the end level of the game at the end, which to me, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you have to skip all the content and immediately jumping into the end game. That's not necessary.
Right.
But I like the idea of if you do the main story stuff, even if it takes you, let's just say 60 hours, but you're at least not doing, I'm going to go fetch 10 copper bars. I'm going to go 8 wolves, all the extra side quest crap. As long as it's just like kind of the main story,
Yeah.
that I'm cool with.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think in a perfect world, I think that as the game, especially an MMO, progresses and there's more and more story, there's more and more stuff that there should be like a rebalancing of experience gained through the main quest instead of go over 3 kingdoms and give me 7 boar tusks. And then as soon as you get back, I'm going to send you 3 kingdoms on that way to go give me, I don't know, Hydra bee honey.
Yeah. Well, of course, then it's also the balance of how to keep veteran players happy with the new players without making the veteran players feel like all their gameplay is meant for naught. Because there has
Right.
to be some value to, in some of their cases, like a decade of gameplay.
Yep.
So how do you kind of keeping those players happy with also not totally turning off new players to the game without having any of that in-game in sight? So
Get them awesome in game.
well, that always helps, yes.
Just say, look, here's the deal. We know that the game's ever evolving, and we want to get all the new guys up close to where you are so that you could do those massive raids. So there's gonna be a couple little, changes to help people get up there fast. Well, not fast, but at a quicker pace.
Yeah, expedient. Yeah.
Yeah. But shit, I had something else to say, but now I forgot. What were we talking about?
Video games.
Video games. What were we talking? But I can't remember.
So
Anyways,
speaking of video games, are you excited about the new Nintendo Switch model coming out?
okay.
No?
What?
Yeah.
I
So basically, there's Nintendo's officially, because we had rumored was the Nintendo Switch Pro, or whatever the hell you want to call it, and Nintendo's announced that it's simply a OLED model, which I don't actually know what OLED stands for, but basically it's upgraded from a 6.2-inch screen to a 7-inch screen, with apparently better speakers, a wire LAN port for when it's hopefully docked and not mobile. I do like that they are upgrading the internals from 32 gigabytes to 64 gigs. It's actually a pretty nice increase.
Mhm.
But you know what has me most excited
What's
about
that?
the new version of the Switch?
What's that?
The kickstand is actually useful looking
I never used the kickstand
because it's absolute trash on the current Switch.
because there's no reason for me to ever use the kickstand because if I am mobile with the thing, both of my joy pads or joy cons whatever are attached to the side of the screen, so it makes no sense for me to do the kickstand because I'm going to have the damn thing in my hands.
Oh, see, like if I'm playing in my bed, I put it on my bed and I still have my Pro Controller.
Oh, you could do that too. I'm right. I mean, well, it really depends on the game. I'm not gonna if it's a button masher. I'm not gonna try to beat the shit out of the Joy Cons. I I do have some intelligence in my
I
brain.
basically don't use the Joy. I don't use the Joy Cons. I just exclusively use basically the Pro Controller.
Well, now I do. Now I'm more. Well, no, it's still here's the thing. When I play, when I've actually got it in my hands, I play with the Joy Cons for the most part. The reason is I'm afraid that if I take those fuckers off, I'll never find them again.
That's fair.
Let's be honest. I mean, the chances of something gone missing in my house is astronomical. So that shit's going to stay there. And since it's going to be there already, might as well. Unless, of course, it's a button masher, then, they'll be attached to the side of the thing, but I'll also have my Pro Controller.
Nice. Yeah, I thought what is interesting and kind of to the shock of most people, is there are no internal upgrades for like the CPU and RAM and GPU are all the same.
That's so Nintendo. Let's be honest. That's
a good answer.
I have to say that I kind of, speaking of Nintendo, I really built Mario Golf up in my mind. I'm like, this could be awesome. It's gonna be cool.
You did.
And holy crap, everywhere it's already half off.
Oh wow.
So it's got some good parts, and then it was basically like it didn't trust the developers didn't trust that that it was going to be, I guess, entertaining enough. So they introduced all these different fucking like variables on golf, and it's annoying as hell. Like you could play there's especially when you're playing the story mode. Most of the time you're not playing like regular golf where your character walks up and swings the golf club, and then where the ball lands, your character's going to show up there and you're going to select your club and do it again. No, most of the time you are going to be flat out sprinting. As soon as you hit your ball, you got to run after it. And you have a certain amount of time. There's a timer that if you take too long, you get a 1-stroke penalty. And there are hazards on the course, which that's fine, whatever,
Yep.
Totally okay with that. But there's a mode where you and the other golfers that you're with all hit at the same time, and you have to race your ball. That's fine. But there's a mode that's literally been kicking my ass called cross country golfing, and it's literally you start on one of the tee boxes, and then it shows you a certain number of holes that you have to get to
Mm-hmm.
in a certain number of strokes. And so what happens is you aim for one of the holes, you make the putt, whatever, and then magically that green becomes a tee box area, and you hit from there.
Okay.
But the problem is that there's like a huge change in elevation,
Oh.
and so you have to not only do you have to get the ball where it needs to be, but you also need the ball to like land specific spots so you can line up your shot with these tornadoes that will take the ball and throw it up in the air, and then you'll continue with the momentum. And if you try to hit it from a wrong angle, it will continue that flight pattern, and it will basically just bounce off the fucking rocks, and then you will have to go run over there. And then you'll probably have to take you'll have to take like an extra shot to try to line it up again. It's annoying as hell. Like, so if you watched my stream on Tuesday night, you'll see that I started with Mario Golf but switched over to Mario Tennis. However, I forgot to actually change the name of the game on the stream, but whatever. Because I was getting so pissed. I was like, all right, fine, I'm just going to do Mario Tennis, which, by the way, the challenge that I was up against in Mario Tennis, fucking nuts. I don't know how to beat it. But that being said, Mario Tennis, a much more solid game than Mario Golf, unfortunately.
And that's like, that was the game you wanted.
I know. That was like, I'm going to get this for my birthday.
Arr! Are you going to survive with it not being everything in life you thought it would be?
It's unfortunately going to become kind of like that random party game that gets pulled out every once in a while. I mean, I am dead set on trying to complete the story mode,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't see like it really, having any lasting game time with myself. Now, Mario Tennis, on the other hand, that could definitely. I've played that several times where I've done free play matches. And there's also an adventure mode on that one. As you play the adventure mode, you open up new courts, and certain courts have hazards that you can turn on to really spice things up.
Ooh, spicy game.
There's one court where if you turn the hazards on, there are 3 piranha plants that will pop up, and from time to time, and they'll eat your ball and then spit it back at you super fast. But it may not be straight back at you. They might just shoot it somewhere else on the court, so you got to be ready. I mean, I feel like Mario Tennis was much. It spent more time in development, and simply because the game's solid. The extra little mechanics, they feel right in the game. Whereas Mario Golf is like, so is everyone just gonna want to hit the ball? Now let's make it a race, and then let's do some crazy stuff. Everybody will love that. I feel like that it ended up being one of those. I have an idea. Let's see if it'll stick, and they just threw it in the game.
Yeah, that happens.
But, anyways, I think there was one other thing I wanted to say. Of course, my brain is completely kaputsied.
Where did the brain go, sir?
I do. I am really, really excited to see that the Borderlands movie has wrapped filming. I need to see some actual footage of the damn thing so I know if I need to cry or celebrate or, I don't know, potentially hide somewhere. But I hope that I'm very hopeful that it's going to be awesome. And then
I'll see it eventually.
Yeah. And then of course, for those out there who have checked out the Netflix movie The Old Guard, which is actually based off of a graphic novel, that was awesome, and they've just declared that there's going to be a second one, which I'm super duper excited about. So, rock on.
I kind of assumed there'd be a second one because.
Well, right. I mean, the thing is, this is this is the case with a lot of the shows on Netflix and hell on TV is there or TV shows or movies. There's a They usually leave it open so that there can be a next a sequel, a next step
Sure.
or whatever. And unfortunately, most of the time, it's the I uh, I'm sorry to inform you, but they've decided to cancel the show, or they've decided not to pursue a sequel. Or it's just left in limbo. It's like, well, we don't know. We might do something. We just haven't decided yet. 3 years later, we're still thinking about it.
How hard do you have to think about it, man?
It's like, it was good. Everyone's still talking about it. So what's the problem?
It didn't make enough of the Moonies.
Which unfortunately is the downfall for a lot of video games if they don't immediately take off, which makes the need for digital launches to go flawlessly on platforms, because that if the digital platform screws over a developer, that could be thousands and thousands of dollars that they lost because someone screwed the pooch.
Okay, so here's an interesting one for you.
Yes, sir.
So I played Outriders. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of get to in game, and there's like not really much coming else out. It's kind of like you see what you get, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people are like, "Oh, there's no like extra content. Where's more stuff?" Even though people can fly. I think it was the developer was very clear that it was like not a gaming as a service. What you saw is what you got. It was a fun game, and they're still patching it, doing like updates. But they're very clear from the beginning. It is not a gaming as a service game. It's not Destiny 2. Really,
Right.
is what it comes down to. It is not that kind of game. And people are bitching and mounting. Where's the more content, man? I need more stuff to be like coming out. Well, recently, basically today, I think,
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft it's been announced or rumored or leaked or whatever it is that the new Assassin's Creed is going to probably be some form of gaming as a service.
Yes. Yes, I did see that.
But it's funny then because people were like, well, this is the death of Destiny's, not good Lord, Assassin's Creed. It's now going to be a gaming as a service
You
instead
get
of
nickeled
just
and
a
dimed to
standalone
death.
game. What's that?
You're gonna get nickeled and dimed to death.
I just find it kind of funny though, where one game like Outriders, people are bitching and moaning that it's basically not as a gaming as a service, and then Assassin's Creed, people are bitching and moaning that it is going to be a gaming as a service.
Okay, so but this is Ubisoft, and let's look at their track record, especially with this specific franchise. Let's just hope that it goes off a little bit better than Assassin's Creed Unity. How about that? I mean, I know that's a very low bar.
I mean, I haven't really played many of the Assassin's Creed, but for everything I see is really since Unity, it's got better. Like people really liked Odyssey and the most recent one, the Vikings one. I don't think people liked as much, but from what I've read, Valhalla, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
People have really liked the games, and they seem to have got, if not better, at least still good.
Right.
The Unity launch catastrophe aside. So it seems like it's still going strong. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to me. That's almost like you take a formula that people like or don't like and you change it, and nobody's going to like it.
Well, that's the risk you take. It either takes off or it burns you. And the wonderful and terrible thing about an Ubisoft and EA and Activision, they can kind of test the water with a long-running franchise and just, if it doesn't pan out, say, well, this was just a test. We still have the ability to go back to this thing. Whereas
like what happened with or what's going on with ESO, where you haven't seen a single-player Elder Scrolls game since ESO came out.
Right.
Or I guess the question is, will Assassin's Creed will basically go the BioWare route, where maybe Assassin's Creed Valhalla is kind of the last single-player I mean, I know there's multiplayer,
right.
but the true last, single-player type of Assassin's Creed we see with, what people like with the gameplay, or is it going to go the route of BioWare, where now you start trying to release, shoehorn a game into multiplayer, and even if it doesn't work out, you don't even try going back to your roots.
I guess we'll see. It comes down to I guess we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our show, but I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. And also point out that we do this show every Thursday night, hopefully every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
7 o'clock Central Time.
If you want to keep up with all the info that is about Alter Confusion, stick around for the credits if you're watching the video. And if you're not watching the video, check out the info tab for the podcast, and it'll give you all our social media links. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I think the Patreon link's on there as well.
We're everywhere, man.
We're everywhere. Also, shit, did I get rid of that thing? Hold on. Just I did a spot check the other day, and currently you can get our podcast on Apple iTunes Podcasts, Pandora Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And Odyssey was in a holding pattern. They hadn't decided yet on it if they're going to host it or not. But anyways, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything come our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Alter Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.